everybody. I'm Steve, and this is the TextEvo Project. Welcome aboard, and once you know it, this is my first video here on this channel. That's right, the very first one. Treading virgin territory here, let me tell you. And don't we all feel lucky? Okay. Maybe you don't. Either way, grab yourself a drink, some popcorn, sit right back, and be prepared to be dazzled beyond what tickles your fancy, people. You're here. I'm here. Might as well stick around, take a chance, and we both just might learn something. Well, at least let's hope so. Right about now, I bet you're thinking, who is this guy? And what the hell is this channel all about? Well, it's about Linux. And just basically me going through stuff, my experiences, showing you some stuff. Who knows? Like I said, you might learn something. Or I might learn something. I've been mulling over the idea of doing this YouTube channel thing for a few years now, starting back in 2019. I'm 50, and I've been using Linux for over 15 plus years, probably closer to 20 by now. The last version of Windows I used daily was Windows XP, and by the time Windows 7/8 was end of life, I was pretty much switched over to Linux. Except for gaming and creativity programs, which if anybody's been around long enough knows Linux was not very good at. It's got a lot better, and I mean a lot better. Now, I got into Linux one day. I was working as a supervisor in a gas station. I was complaining to a customer about how buggy Windows was, and how I just lost a bunch of data on an update that gave me the blue screen of death. Now, mind you, at this time, I was self-taught on PC builds, and I was explaining this to one customer. Another customer, who I'd never seen before, and never seen again, suggested I should try this operating system called Linux, and he handed me an install disk of Red Hat to try it out, and told me not to update it, that it'd break. Apparently there'd been 1 to 2 versions released since then. But me being me, I installed it on a extra PC and tried the update. Rebooted, straight into a TTY. I had no clue what I was doing. But before that happened, I took a look around. I liked what I seen. I mean, it was lacking in certain things like, video games and creativity apps such as Adobe, Mixcraft. I don't know if Mixcraft was around back then. But I was into music and audio and that kind of stuff as well. So, I reinstalled XP and did a search on Linux. Found Debian, tried to install it, could not get it installed for the life of me. Followed their instructions to the letter. Tried to find some help, and in one forum, I got a reply. It was one of their forums that their installer was borked at the time. And they were basically doing the best they could on getting it fixed. I mean, Debian was still pretty new at that time. And so I went down the list, and Slackware came up. Slackware installed perfectly. And I, followed their how-to straight on down the list, and like I said, it just went on there. The only real issue we think I had was the network drivers. I had an Intel, I think Pro 100 at the time. I'm not sure. It was an Intel one, and Linux at the time didn't have the drivers for that particular card. So I went on their forum, found out that I had a card, another card, that did work. And so I reinstalled it, and it just came right up. I didn't know how to get the card to come up, after swapping the cards out. I didn't know the commands or anything like that. I ended up learning that later. But after that, it was no problem. Now, I must have broke that system every other week learning what to do and what not to do. Only occasionally, when I was trying to solve something, there were unresolved dependencies on there, and they would break. Sometimes updating would break it too. So after time, I got better at it, learned what I needed to learn, just the basics, nothing too extravagant at that time. But I still needed Windows. So I learned how to dual boot, and then I ran across this other operating system, which was a BSD. I think it was Ghost BSD at the time. I'm not sure. I can't remember. So I basically reformatted, figured out how to triple boot. Oh man, and share the swap file between Linux and BSD. But I kept finding myself breaking Slackware. So I started searching again, found distros like Knoppix, Meepus. I think Slacks was around back then. We're talking like 12, 15 years ago now. I ran Slackware for about 3 to 5 years, I think. I finally landed on Fedora. And don't ask me what version it was. I don't remember. But I stayed on that for, I don't know, another, oh God, I don't remember now. But anyways, I ended up finding Ubuntu about 7 or 8 years ago, and I've been pretty much using Ubuntu ever since. Or Ubuntu-based distributions. Currently, I'm running Pop! OS. I know. But I had to get away from Ubuntu because every time I install any of the Ubuntu KDE-based flavors that they have over there, the desktop keeps coming up with errors. I don't know if it's something with my machine or if it's just the version they're on and then it's just having bugs that haven't been resolved yet. Anyways, that stuff usually works itself out within a month. So I'll probably be back on Ubuntu within a year. I usually like to take my time on one single distribution for a while and then go back to Ubuntu. I don't know why. I tried Debian as a desktop recently again, and found out it didn't work so well on my machine. Well, I have NVIDIA for graphics, so and I like the game. I even tried the non-free, and it didn't quite work out for me. That's how I ended up on Pop! OS again. So basically this channel is going to be about how-tos, walkthroughs, and gaming on Linux. I hope you enjoy, and who knows, you might learn something along the way. Until next time, stay out of trouble, and if you can't, don't get caught. But seriously, stay out of trouble.